So, hello everyone. This Madreya, this is the 12th day of my water fast, and just as happened last Friday, I've had a bit of a crash, sort of wave of exhaustion and tiredness and weakness. Not all negative. I feel very gentle, very sensitive, open, vulnerable, relaxed, patient, tranquil, easy. I'm fairly comfortable, but nonetheless exhausted. Just so tired. And there's a truck there. So weak, and it's just what it is. I've noticed this coming in waves in all of my long fasts, and I'm not really sure what it is. What I suspect it is, and what some of the old timers like Lou Corona or so on, old timers means, in the last 50 years, not like Hippocrates or Moses or something, or Pythagoras or somebody, is that the body is undergoing, in a sense, sort of waves of healing, sometimes accompanied by a healing crisis. And perhaps there's systems, pathways, organs in the body, like the adrenals, that are responsible for high energy states and your sleep and waking and so many things. So perhaps the exhaustion is some sort of healing processes going on. I don't know. However, in general, it seems to be a feature of long extended water fasts, at least for me, and I think for many others also. All in all, if I was trying to do, an 8-hour workday today or something, death would be a problem. If I had kids, it would be a problem, but or had any kind of serious, stress and engagement that was critical, that I needed to achieve, that would be difficult. But I don't. So I've arranged this kind of time in my life. So I'm just doing some part-time work, and I couldn't take a complete holiday, but still I've softened my whole life down. A lot of space, a lot of time to relax. I can get enough sleep and so on. So all in all, it's a beautiful day here. We're an hour south of Sydney. This is a house, nice big 5-bedroom house. It's about 5 minutes away from the place where we work, which is Govinda Valley Retreat. And Govinda Valley Retreat actually hosts a multitude of retreats, including the one that I work with, which is Heart and Soul. So it's just yoga, vegan, some raw food, sometimes Pilates, permaculture, eco-sustainability. There's a big truck there. there's a hill behind us that leads down to a mine. And so the big trucks, especially today is Friday, so on the Monday to Friday in the daytime, when the big trucks come down, they put on their hydraulic brakes. It's quite loud. Anyway, the retreat center itself is very quiet. So I have the space in my life that I can do this, and overall I just feel good. I feel happy. My friend Greg is here with me. We went out a little bit before. We got some CBD oil and some natural spring water, and I'm just having a good time. It's beautiful. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is. 80 or something Fahrenheit, I don't know. And it's a lovely day here. There's something about water fasting which really is very connective to nature. Soothing, quieting, takes us away from our constant sort of hyper distracted mode of living. We go days and days and days without really connecting deeply to ourselves, to nature. And I'm no expert at this, but the water fast itself somehow creates that magic. Actually, I was told by a friend of mine who grew up in India in the old traditional Gurukul system that Krishna Namacharya, who was the sort of mentor, the teacher of BKS Iyengar, we may know Iyengar Yoga, that's that gentleman, and I think Deshakachar, some other famous yogis, were all students of his. And when he was going to learn yoga, he was trying to enter into a community of yogis in the foothills of the Himalayas. And at least the story, the way I was told it, was that he would walk up to where he thought these yogis may be, where the local people said, yes, there's yogis up there. And each time he felt, by some kind of mystical arrangement, he was somehow diverted, and he would find himself coming back down where he started. And at a certain point he understood, oh, something may be going on here on a more subtle platform. After all, Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras, he speaks about mystic powers in very down-to-earth plain language, that if you practice, very seriously in the yoga tradition, these things may come. He says they're distractions, but he says they may come. If you meditate on the moon, you'll get the power to understand the movements of all the planets. And if you meditate on the pole star, the northern star, in Sanskrit that's called Dhruva Loka, the fixed loka. Loka is cognate with our word location, so the fixed planet, steady planet, the North Star. We're in the southern hemisphere, so we don't see that star. That star is Polaris in our modern scientific language. If you meditate on that star, then you'll get understandings of all the constellations and their, so many things. Anyway, he gives all this stuff. So he felt that something was happening there. So he simply sat down and meditated in the foothills of the Himalayas, and he no longer tried to walk up to the yogis. And the story that was told to me was that a yogi came down to him at a certain point and said, you can come and join us in our community, but first you must purify and become connected and become more gentle and clear all this distracted energy and these remnants of lust and greed and anxiety and stress and fear and worry, and let's clear that away. So you kindly do a 40-day water fast here. You just sit down, you meditate, you take a little water each day, and after 40 days then we can accept you. So it's very interesting, the kind of whatever is the truth of that story, and I'm sure we could research it. Krishnamacharya is a very historical personality. It's only in the last century. But there's certainly psycho-emotional, psycho-spiritual benefits to water fasting. And therefore you see it in Buddhism, Judaism, like Ramadan, like in the Christian tradition, so many people have fasted. In the yoga tradition, it's everywhere. When I lived in India, on every Ekadasi, Ekadasi is a day of the moon, every 2 weeks anyway. Every 2 weeks, everybody that I knew, the whole area, the whole village, would all do a complete dry fast on that day. Even, 10-year-old boys, old people, everybody, women, men. I don't know if like pregnant ladies and things do it, but basically almost everyone that I knew just did a complete dry fast every 2 weeks as part of their spiritual practice, and even just as part of their traditional culture. So it's there all over the world. We hear through Plato, for example, that when Pythagoras was trying to sort of gain access into some of the teaching, educational situations in Egypt at that time. If you read Plato, you can see that he very much is enamored and very respects this ancient sort of Kemetic or Egyptian tradition. So I don't know much about it personally, but I've read some Plato. That Pythagoras was also declined entrance into the, quote-unquote mystery school. And but he was asked, if you do a 40-day water fast, then this will prepare you. So whatever is the evidence that we have for all these things, still we can see through history and through personal experience, and even people who are overtly, explicitly stating themselves to be not so interested in the spiritual aspects, say like a Dr. Alan Goldhammer, does also say, many people report psychospiritual or psycho-emotional, psychological benefits, very special dreams, which I've been having lately, old friends and connections and different things arising. Water fasting is quite an experience, very deep, amazing thing. Anyway, I hope you're all well, my friends, and with all sincerity, may all good things come to you. May all good things come to you. Thank you.